Hey, howdy, and good the freaking morning. This is great. I've got my Electrician's fly killer here. Flies are destroying us the last couple of days where we're at. Different problem. Hate flies. Good morning, fly swatter. Click like and subscribe. Love the comments and all the great ideas. Real quick, another plug for what I'm going to now call rabbit hole training. Here's how this works. Typically when we're training, we're talking about code book and a lot of more structure. But I don't know about you, I'm not a super structured learner. So the things when we're doing things like the GFI in the bucket of water, when we're doing field expedient washers, when we're doing that kind of stuff, the reason why I call that rabbit hole training is because we start with something that in our mind solves a problem, but also creates questions. Just like my story about when my dad said, hey, when a blow dryer hits the water in the bathtub, that GFI will trip instantly. And then I was standing with a group of guys, remember? Threw the blow dryer in the bucket, and nothing happened. That created a rabbit hole. Because now we have to know, why didn't that do what we expected? And so for us, as we talk about this proposed rabbit hole training content, is I want to create rabbit holes. Because when you do something that creates questions and you want to figure it out, you will learn so much faster, so much more thoroughly than you do in the typical line by line, here's our outline. And that has value and it gives us a place to go so we don't get completely lost. But I love the idea of rabbit hole training. And with the content and the teaching the courses that I'm starting to put together, I think I wanted to help you focus and get more of your ideas about some of those areas. Because, for instance, when we did the training with GFIs, once we had that experience, every class I've used that silly blow dryer and bucket of wire with has been so much better than me just going through Article 210.8 and talking about this is where it has to happen. Because once you figured out how it worked and how it didn't work, you look at the job and the application out in the real world so much more differently. So I want to shout out to Leon Martin, Paul Halverson, thank you, Paul, and Ryan. I was just looking at the comments from our last proposal video. Really appreciate your comments and your ideas. Please keep those coming. And I guess my question right now before I go is the sticking points. What are some of those sticking points that if you had a rabbit hole to go down and somebody was going to walk you through that, what kind of things would you look at? And the reason I'm saying sticking points is because a lot of electrical work is going to be learned by just brutal grinding repetition. And that's pretty much like everything else, right? But I'm talking about those things that are a little bit more magic, like GFIs. How do they work? When do they trip? Because again, a lot of times what we think isn't what we think. And a lot of grounding, a lot of surge protectors, a lot of sizing conductors off of breakers, voltage drop. Those things, in my mind, very simplistic, we get into more magic, i.e. probably math, but anyways, where we really need to see that. Even something as mundane as terminating, how tight you tighten something. We learned so much in one of our classes when we deliberately left a terminal on a plug loose and then put a 20 amp load on it and then used an infrared thermometer to see how fast and how hot it would get. And when my apprentices saw that terminal smoking after about 5 or 10 minutes, it made a memory in terms of, dude, do the extra turn or torque that termination because it's going to smoke. It's going to get hot and burn something down. That's what I'm looking for. Rabbit hole training. I don't know if that label is going to stick, but I like it so far. You all take care.